Hello, you're welcome to the Channel 1 Newsroom. We're broadcasting live from our studios at number 5, Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano here in Accra. I am Charles Owusukumi. Coming up. Damfa and Otinibi residents renew calls for road rehabilitation after years of broken promises.
In MP Susu, he was arrested.
Yes.
I expect my people within my community to demonstrate again. Because now it is Sosu's mother who is in the kitchen.
Yes.
So he can't come and tell us story anymore.
Yes.
We will not take it.
Yes. Yes.
We've set time for ourselves.
Yes. Yes.
If we don't see anything on the road, you will hear from us.
Also coming up, chiefs of Ankase in the Ashanti region sound alarm over dilapidated school buildings endangering pupils.
Yesukubi. Se me kemu asema ya eburu fie du ni echire na omo hye school no ase na akọ ba bia school no aduro ya nne nkwada ye ba bi for school dan no omo demu omo komo no nyame nko anke bukum nkwada no ti ye for so kura na ebu ene du omo ko wi mu na ahomete.
Gawar schools face acute desk shortage as authorities rush to intervene.
A furniture deficit of more than 5,000. Yes, we have a lot of places where the children are sitting in multiples instead of two learners sitting on the decks. You have 3, and you see there's so much pressure, and because of the pressure on the decks, in no time when even you procure the furniture, within a matter of weeks and months, they get deteriorated and they broken.
And also in the bulletin, Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman pledges greater government support for Navy to strengthen maritime security and drive blue economy.
Although the Gulf of Guinea faces various security threats, our maritime domain remains relatively safe. We owe the security to the Ghana Navy. Government has been made aware of the constraints facing the Navy, including insufficient platforms and other facilities.
Thank you for choosing the Channel 1 Newsroom. Let's now get into the details of the bulletin. And residents of Zenu Atadeka in the Katamanso municipality are reeling from the devastation of Friday's torrential rains, which submerged homes and shops and washed away the community's only makeshift bridge. The incident has heightened fears among locals who are urgently appealing for government support. Channel 1 News' Elizabeth Kabukio-Kanse reports.
The collapse of the old Wicken Bridge has left residents of Zenu and Atadeka stranded. For years, it has been labeled a debt trap, particularly for school children who relied on it daily. Its destruction has deepened the suffering of the flood victims, with losses running into thousands of Ghana cedis. Some residents blamed poor drainage systems and the lack of regular dredging for the recurring floods.
Ye media mi fie be ho pe wa ha ensuo ninti mi wo na ma hihye nyina ebubu etumi yiri saa na be fie ho be 2016 na me wo me ba ye be yi gota we mu asa
ye gota no em se be efie be edu anansie ni ya na mo ba be yi gota nim de ma ensuo no etimi akokọ nkofo dem ebubu bridge no evi be 4 years bia no mba yi gota nim to say gota no and anwia ye gota no ma na ensuo no ba na afulu na ko bia dem.
We have been having a lot of problems here. If it is rains, it enters people's room. As you can see, people have to move their things outside. People have to stand outside before they will like take off the water from their rooms before they can have access.
I'm standing on one of the longest bridge here at Zenu, which is about 9 years old. Residents say that this is where their children fly every day to Zenu Government School. They are pleading with government to come and intervene. They are also saying that for over 7 years, this particular drainage has not been dredged, and this is what is causing massive flooding issues for them here.
They are urging authorities to rebuild the bridge and the silt drains to bring lasting relief to the community.
Over here, this is where the school children over here cross and go to the government school. But as you can see, the bridge has been broken down. This is very risky. They need to do something about it.
Na insoni toye no ama nkwala ne ntumi fa hansi school kwan a nkwala fa ediko school edeba efiri akopim atadeka ekwan na haya na nkwala ne fa nti yesre president say yesre na animanum ya o meye mayen
na nkwala nkitua ebi kura gugu asisi a ye kasa na ebi twemu ye kasa kura na ebi twem so bridge no ebu bridge na ebu anyway bridge na ebu. And
the residents are saying that whenever it rains, they have to leave these particular houses to find a safe place with their friends and family in another environment.
The municipal director of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, says relief items would soon be distributed to affected families, whilst advising those in flood-prone areas to relocate to safer grounds.
We send our report to the MC, who is the chairman for the disaster committee. They also forward it to my regional boss. They also forward it to the director general. And then, as soon as possible, maybe we can get some relief items and then see to those who are affected. So that are the plans or the measures we are putting in place. But I will advise that if they know where they have evacuated, it's a place that poses threat anytime it rains, then I'll advise them that maybe they start looking for a permanent place than where they are living.
Meanwhile, the municipal chief executive for Katamanso says plans are in motion to dredge major drains and construct a new bridge to improve safety and reduce future flood risks.
I've been there and I've told them for them to enjoy life, all the properties there, I am going to pull it down. Then we'll get access to dredge all the drains there where we need to do proper culverts, we'll do them. Where we need to do proper drains, we'll do them. The challenge I came to inherit is this one. But as our leader, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, you need not complain. That is what you've inherited. You have to get it fixed. I've communicated to those at the top, and we are working at it ASP, especially the foot bridge. That is the only access students can use to school. That is the only access our mothers will go through to the market to do their small businesses here and there, at least to make ends meet.
This drainage connects directly to the far end dam that we can see. Anytime it rains, it overflows its banks and floods nearby houses, causing severe destruction. Residents are calling for urgent government intervention. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Elizabeth Kabuki Okanti.
Now, the management of the Ghana News Agency says the state-owned entity is facing a severe financial crisis that has led to a high attrition rate among its staff and journalists. According to the management, the government's failure to release budgetary allocations for compensation and goods and services in the last quarter of 2024 has worsened the situation. As a result, many reporters who pre-financed news coverage last year are still awaiting reimbursement. Channel 1 News' Ni Ayukwe Okaim has more.
For years, the Ghana News Agency has served as the primary provider of news and information to its subscribers, mostly media houses. Yet, the institution now finds itself in a state of distress. Management has revealed The GNA is struggling with financial constraints, which have translated into low remuneration for its staff. The situation has fueled a steady attrition rate, with many skilled professionals leaving in search of better opportunities elsewhere.
People come for the interview, we tell them the offer, and they decline. Others also join, and within a few months or years, they leave. So we try our best, but there are people that we trained that have gone on to other media houses like Multimedia, and they tell us that GNA is the best place to work. If you pay us well, we will love to work with GNA. So it is so important for us that our conditions of service can be improved. Even when we are sending our journalists to the field today, we are anguished because the all-inclusive out-of-station allowance is 280, accommodation, meals, and everything. They are excited to go, but once they come and then you give them the money, they know that they can't sleep in any decent place, let alone feed themselves. So we are actually suffering, but our resilience has kept us. The attrition rate is very high for the journalists and other staff. So we really need your support to be able to build our capacity to digitize our operations, to deliver not only credible content, but timely content.
Management also reveals that its 2024 last quarter budgetary allocation for compensation and goods and services has not been released, compounding the situation.
As we speak, we still haven't received our last quarter compensation, let alone goods and services. So the computers that we use today were donated by stakeholders or by we use our own resources. To the extent that if I say that compensation and goods and services arrears are outstanding, it means that journalists who pre-financed news operations last year are still owed by the state. And so our situation is dire. As a news agency, we are supposed to move with modern times.
Beyond financing, GNA's operational capacity has been severely hampered by logistical challenges. The agency has not received a single vehicle from government since 2007, despite its nationwide mandate to cover events across the country.
Since 2007, we have not received any vehicles directly from the government, because under AFDB, we got some 4 last year. But our regional officers are operating with vehicles that were given to them in 2007. So you can imagine. And
ideally, how many vehicles should you have, and how many are you operating with now?
So every region should have at least 1 vehicle. We have district officers as well. Every region should have at least 1 vehicle. At the head office, we need at least 6 vehicles, to support operations. So as I said, we are in a situation where our general manager for years didn't even have an official vehicle, and let alone a director. So it's difficult.
Now, despite these challenges, the Ghana News Agency continues to deliver on its mandate, but under constrained circumstances. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Ni Ayukweyi Okine.
Well, let's stay with this story. We're joined in studio by the chairman of the Communication and Information Committee of Parliament and Member of Parliament for Bunkurugu, Dr. Abednego Bandin Azuma. Grateful to you, sir, for joining us here on the Channel 1 Newsroom. You did tour some of these agencies under your oversight. Tell us about these agencies you visited last week, I guess, and what were your general observations?
Yes, thank you, Charles, for having me today. Good evening to viewers. Yes, we did visit, I think, 3 agencies that are under the Ministry of Information. Our first call was at the Information Service Department.
Okay.
Then they took us around the various units under that department. And we saw with our eyes what is happening in that office. In fact, as I'm talking to you, I can see some of the pictures of what we were able to witness.
Yeah.
Then from there, we moved to the Ghana News Agency. In fact, currently, the Ghana News Agency is being hosted by the Information Service Department because their building, which is just opposite the Registrar General's department, is under construction. So they have no space, office space to operate from now. So they are patching with the Information Service Department at the moment. We met them at that office, and then they took us to their offices where they are, it is under construction or renovation right now. And then from there, we moved to the GBC, okay, where we met with the Director General and management staff. They conducted us around, and we saw things for ourselves instead of being told, theoretically what prevails in their offices.
What did you see?
We saw a lot. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it was very heartbreaking, some of the things that we saw. I will tell you that at the Information Service Department, they took us to a unit called the Audiovisual Unit, where they keep our archives predating independence. Before we gain independence, we saw documentation of the activities of former presidents, from pre-independent to Nkrumah, through to President Jerry John Rawlings. Then we saw that of President Kufuor. We saw President Atta Mills, all the activities that they undertook whilst they were in office, up to date, being kept in those boxes, as you can see right now. Pictures, and we're told that that office receives a lot of visitors, okay, from outside the country who come to do research, to obtain information, very useful information for their research. And yet you go to the office, there are cables hanging around, they have no single computer. And it is so bad under the condition that the staff are working on. And the fact that those information that are our national information, our national archives, are going waste or destroyed. I will tell you also that part of the building of the Information Service Department was gutted recently by fire. So we couldn't go there. Part of that building was blacked out. There was no light. We entered into those offices, and then it was, you can see the cables, as as we saw them, mm-hmm, and that is somebody's seat, and that person operates under that condition. And they told us that those documents, if not properly kept, if not digitalized, would just be destroyed. So and it means that we will lose it and lose it forever.
State media, they are well documented. So, shouldn't we be looking at solutions now rather than finding the problem? The problems are already known.
Yes.
This is budgetary support. You don't have enough resources. Recently, GBC came up, the president said, well, they don't only need to be resourced, but they have to be strategic also in finding other ways of making money for themselves.
That is true, but they need leadership. That is why the agencies are under the supervision of ministers. And those ministers must show leadership, must guide them and lead them in order to renovate and be able to be self-sufficient. We lack it. For the past 8 years, it appears nothing has been done in terms of leadership, in terms of what meager funds that they receive. They have not been able to utilize it to be able to be self-sufficient. That is the problem. So yes, even as we want them to be innovative and to be able to sustain themselves, we have to show them leadership. We have to appoint heads of those departments who would go there not just to continue with the status quo, but to ensure that they show leadership in changing the working conditions of the people. Some of them relies on donor funds. And if you get donor funds, you must be able to use it properly. You know, these agencies, particularly, in fact, all the three of them, GBC, Ghana News Agency, and then the Information Service Department, can be self-sustained if they have the required leadership. Because in other jurisdictions, we have their colleagues that don't depend so much on government, but are able to raise their own funding. I was telling them that information is money. You understand? And therefore, if you are able to provide innovative information using modern technologies, you will be able to compete with others.
Well, they're under the supervision of your colleague in Parliament, Felix Nkwadwo Fosu. Have you had any conversations with him since your tour of these facilities?
Yes, he appeared with those agencies when we had a workshop some few months ago before we went on recess. And after they had given us their presentations on their operations, we thought that it was necessary for us to follow up to their offices to observe empirically what they were doing and what they were telling us, whether there were variations. That was why we undertook this exercise. Before we did that, we had written to the minister, and he granted approval for us to go there. Unfortunately, he himself was not with us because he had other equally important commitments out and couldn't be with us. But I told him that when we meet and whatever we see, we would want to meet with him and discuss the way forward. So part of the agenda would be to meet with the various ministers and to put it before them. And together we can also suggest solutions as to how they should go about. And I know the minister himself, when he came before the committee, told us ahead of time before we did the visit. Mm-hmm. So he's aware of the challenges over there and was able to even suggest some solutions to that effect. So we will meet with him, and we would want him to take on board in reforming the various agencies under his ministry.
There's a communications leg to your committee. I mean, the minister, Sam George, I mean, we know recently his, for lack of a better word, feud with DSTV. What do you make of this?
Yes, with the issue of DSTV, because I'm the chairman of the committee, I do not want to preempt anything. Let me leave you with this proverb from my former ranking member, Alhaji Ibi Fusheni, who said that when there is a diarrhea roaming around the house, it is looking for the landlord. That issue of DSTV has been lingering, and I am very sure that it will eventually end on the table of this committee, which I chair. And therefore, I will not want to discuss anything about it, but whatever it is, I know that there is a committee that has been constituted currently that is meeting to resolve the issues. I just hope that they will be able to resolve the issues and then it will end there. Otherwise, the committee will have to step in at some point to look at the facts available and give a solution. And if it will require a law that will resolve the issue, that is what we will be recommending to Parliament, for a law to be passed to resolve this problem of pricing. But so far, I think there is no violation of the law as far as I know. So I'm watching very carefully and hoping that it will find a quicker resolution.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abednego Bandima-Zuma. I'm chairman of the Communication and Information Committee of Parliament. You're still watching the Channel 1 newsroom here on Channel 1 TV. Still ahead in the bulletin. Chiefs of Ankasi in the Ashanti region sound alarm over dilapidated school buildings endangering pupils. We have details in a bit. Please don't go away.
Hey, Ghana. So you people know Miss Brother Man small. If you knew, it's your boy. Kill them all, kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the grades. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa, faha.
Wake up in the morning feeling super fine. Don't got no time, yeah. Turn it up, I'ma strut my stuff. You see me walking on the block, can't get enough. Like nobody can touch me. They wanna be like me, but I got no time to get up, get up, get up. Now let's go. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. We gotta.
Play me for.
It's go time. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. Call me. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. Now let's go.
Beautiful.
Get up.
Wow.
Get up, let's go.
Decent cross. Wasn't going for it. Up towards goal. That's a superb finish.
When it's go time to supercharge your hustle, make it go time for GoTV.
Get up, now let's go.
Love it.
Yeah, welcome back to the Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 TV. Now, the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amoakohene, has spearheaded a cleanup exercise at the abandoned Ashanti Regional Hospital project site in Sewia in the Ashanti region. The exercise, which forms part of efforts to restore the facility's structural integrity, comes after years of stalled progress. Channel 1 News' Ashanti Regional correspondent Taufik Mohammed has more in this news, read by Emmanuel Opon.
The Ashanti Regional Hospital project, Sewa, has faced multiple missed deadlines, leaving the 250-bed facility overrun by weeks. Despite its incomplete state, former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo officially commissioned the hospital on January 4, 2025. In a bid to revive the project, Regional Minister Dr. Frank Amoakohene led a team to clean up the site and reiterated his commitment to ensuring its speedy completion.
One year, and our day was over to the area, so we are. Eti afisese kasa afisese ebedu na bibi aga wo bia no yetimi awie president say na me adomi aduma no enkotini mabuna ya bahai ebebedu so ase mo fu be na akonya na matini aso mo man Ghana na mo so so amatini amansa akoba no.
The chief of Sibwa, Nanakwe Kuamankwasa Akodie II, expressed frustration over the prolonged delays, stressing that completing the hospital would help ease the burden on Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital.
Komfo-Anokye Hospital, na eyechi nya ababi alsio titi ho brunyi no ono si maaye ya nde atima bonipa se kufo ama maye emergency no wuji se ka woti se obakoni pegugu egugu from sa wabra sa regional hospital ke wiya kede pe bebre beti me de be abeja ya sawa twa afari na kai twese wiya na kai it is sentimental ha no ede be pa na ya na aban bakwa ba orpese ye ayro ho ede be pa no pese ye mai ya ye wura wote kokoso dan be kan ya wonu mum no ko pesika se ya mbo ma hospital Komfo-Anokye yenye ni ade.
Still in the Ashanti region, traditional leaders in Ankase in the Bekwai municipality are sounding the alarm over the dire state of the community's school infrastructure. They warn that the deteriorating facilities, which have been left in disrepair for years, pose a serious risk to pupils' safety and are undermining education in the area. Our Ashanti regional correspondent Bright Yeboah has the details.
The chief of Ankase, Nana Kwansa, has expressed deep concern over the poor state of the community's school building, describing it as a death trap for children. The school project, which began nearly a decade ago, has stalled, leaving pupils vulnerable and deprived of a safe, conducive learning environment.
Isukubi. So me came once a a burum fie du ni echiri. And no mushe school no sia. Na ko be a school no duro. Yeah, nem kwada ye baby for school dan no mo demo omkomo no nyame nko anke bukum kwada no tie for so kra na ebu ene du omko we mu na ahomte ya ye bia school no aka.
The school's assistant head teacher shared frustrations over how the crumbling structure continues to hinder teaching and learning, lamenting that repeated reports to authorities have gone unanswered.
For the past 8 years now, there's no any development in our school. So teaching and learning is not really effective because the children cannot sit in the environment whereby the classroom is not attractive for them to learn. So it is a challenge to us. Our master has sent a lot of letters to the DCs, the office, but there's no helping coming out.
Meanwhile, during a working visit to the Bekwai municipality, Ashanti Regional Minister Dr. Frank Amokohene assured residents of government's commitment to completing the long-delayed project, along with others in a similar deprived communities.
Ankase, yes, I was there before I went to Kokotro. So you realize that almost all these smaller communities that need something little from government, we are able to see their needs and be able to provide same. So over there, their school infrastructure, whilst on our way, I spoke to Mr. Paul J, who is the Get Fund administrator. He's embarking on some Get Fund emergency projects so that we'll be able to get some funding for them and be able to complete same.
Traditional authorities in Ankase say the school infrastructure has been in shambles for over a decade. They are therefore urging the government to come to their aid. For Channel 1 News, I am Bright Yeboah.
Now, public schools in the Gawes municipality are grappling with severe infrastructure challenges as overcrowded classrooms and a dire shortage of infrastructure continue to hinder effective teaching and learning. With over 5,000 desks needed urgently, local authorities and the MP for Amasaman are stepping in to help bridge the gap. Channel 1 News' Philip Nielate has more in this report.
Inadequate school blocks, overcrowded classrooms and insufficient desks are just a few of the pressing challenges affecting teaching and learning in nearly all public schools within the Gawes municipality. The increasing number of enrollments in these schools has further worsened the situation. According to the Education Directorate at Gawes, over 5,000 desks are needed immediately to address the severe shortage of classroom furniture in the municipality's public schools. Victor Nointeria is the Municipal Director of Education at Gawes.
In Amasaman constituency, we have 77 junior high schools, 74 primary schools, and 71 kindergartens. And by headship, we have 79 heads governing and managing all these schools. The district is very, very wide, and we have a lot of schools that are almost in the rural areas. And with such a situation, you can determine that they have a lot of needs. We have a furniture deficit of more than 5,000. Yes, and we have a lot of places where the children are sitting in multiples. Instead of two learners sitting on the decks, we have 3. And you see, there's so much pressure, and because of the pressure on the decks, in no time when even you procure the furniture, within a matter of weeks and months, they get deteriorated and they're broken down.
In response to this growing need, the Member of Parliament for Amasaman, Sedema Penyo, has initiated a program to provide at least 1,000 dual desks annually to mitigate the problem. During a recent presentation of 100 desks to the Gawes Education Directorate, the MP emphasized that additional support from the central government would significantly help resolve the furniture crisis across public schools in his constituency.
The plan was to do 1,000 every year, so that within my first term, which is a 4-year period, I would have given them 4,000. But I know government has been supporting. Every year, government supplies almost all the district assemblies with furniture. So if I'm able to support with 4,000 and government adds up, that should solve the problem for us. For the distribution, I'll leave it to the leaders here to take care of, because they brought me this information and I know they have the data. They know the communities that need the furniture most. If I want to distribute it, I might end up giving it to the wrong schools, although all the schools need it, but some are better off than others.
The Municipal Chief Executive for Ga West, Despon Sowa 9, also noted that the goal is to prioritize the distribution of desks to the most deprived schools in the municipality.
I think what is done is a compliment. However, we would also do and ensure that we use it purposefully for what it's meant for. I'm also going to say that when we receive such gestures, we have to ensure that we consider the deprived areas. I've spoken to Director of Education for the municipality that, last week Honorable Sedma Peño led microcredit to donate a school. Besides that, there are more aquatrains or other townships like that with schools and deprivation. So we are considering some of these things to go to those places.
Inadequate furniture in over 70 public schools in the Amasaman constituency is taking a toll on teaching and learning following high enrollment in some of these schools. According to the District Education Directorate, about 5,000 desks are needed to address the issue. A timely intervention by the Member of Parliament for the area, Sedema Peño, has set the tone to mitigate the situation, but a lot more is needed. I am Philip Nilate for Channel 1 News.
This is still the Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 TV. Still ahead. Leader of Christo Asafo Church, Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka, dies at age 77. We have details in a moment. Please don't go away.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw direction to your house. I need your thumbprint. And I'll need your birth certificate too. No, I need the original.
A lot has changed since you bank like this. So have we. We've made it easier than ever to open an account online and bank on the go through our mobile app, online banking, and more. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way.
Sign here, and here.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Thank you for staying with us here on the Channel 1 Newsroom. Now let's head to the Lankwantana Madina municipality, where residents of Damfa and Otinibi are demanding the swift completion of their major road years after the government promised rehabilitation. In 2021, the community, led by Madina Member of Parliament Francis Xavier Sosu, staged a massive protest by blocking the Ayi Mensam Damfa Otinibi stretch. Nearly 4 years later, residents say the road remains in a deplorable state, despite assurances following the protest. Channel 1 News' Christopher Kevin Asima has more.
On October 25, 2021, residents of Damfa, Otinibi, together with their Member of Parliament, Francis Xavier Sosu, staged a major protest by blocking the Yimensa Damfa Otinibi road. The demonstration left commuters stranded and prevented school children from attending classes. The Member of Parliament was subsequently charged with unlawful blocking of public road and causing damage to public property. Following the protest, construction work briefly resumed, with government pledging timely completion. However, nearly 4 years on, residents say no meaningful progress has been made and the road has further deteriorated.
Look at me, yeah, bro, stores in a foot on Kwan, better the foot dry Yama. Oh, yeah, bro, Kwan we also may, yes, the message of Kwan is still now, I want my copy, my answer, the
Kwan, I had demonstration come on fear, but still a Kwan never pass. You can't buy, you can't say, this year the money Kwan, the next year they never power.
But it's not easy because we normally bypass. Sometimes people that they are pregnant and stuff, they are suffering because even because of the road, cars are not coming here at midnight because the road is not good. Even if it rains, here is like a river, like a swimming pool. So we are suffering. We are suffering. It's not easy for us. Yeah, and we have voted for an MP to help us to do the road, and we are not seeing anything. So we don't know what to do now. So we are just looking up to the government.
The situation is very deplorable. We will be happy if the government will come to our aid, because this is a major road. We were just discussing in the car. That is a major road linking the town to these suburbs. But the road is very, very bad, especially when it rains. It is unmotorable. So we'll be very glad if the government can do something for us on this road.
The chief of Otinibi, Ni Ajay Kwe Jamaica IV, expressed frustration over what he described as a neglect of the community and warned of renewed demonstration if the project is not revived.
In MP Susu, he was arrested. Yes. I expect my people within my community to demonstrate again. Because now it is Sosu's mother who is in the kitchen. Yes. So he can't come and tell us story anymore. Yes. We will not take it. Yes. Yes. We've set time for ourselves. Yes. Yes. If we don't see anything on the road, you will hear from us. For the road alone, if you live here with us, you drive on this road, you feel our pain. And if you use the type of cars we are using, you feel it. Yes.
The Lankwantana Madina Municipal Chief Executive Ibrahim Faila Fuseni assured residents that plans are underway to repackage the project under the Ministry of Roads and Highways and hand it over to a new contractor. He expressed optimism that rehabilitation works will commence within the next few months.
Within the next 2-3 months, I don't think the road will be as it is in its current form. We'll be able to get it done within a short period of time. So I'm only appealing to the motorists and then the community, Otinibi, Damfa, Kweyman. I'm appealing to each and every one of us that, yes, I, for one, today, and Lawyer Susu have no excuse to give because we were part of the demonstrators who demonstrate on this very road to ensure that the road is being fixed for the past 3 years ago. So if today we are in government and also being a servant leader as the representative of the president of the municipality, I mean, what excuse do I have to give? Of course, I have no excuse to give, but rather to deliver to the good people of the community. So I can assure you, very soon this road will be given out and then we'll get the road fixed.
Residents of Otinibi here in the Greater Accra region are urging government to come to their aid and see to the construction of the road to connect them to other parts of the region. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Christopher Kevin Asima.
More news. Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman has assured the Ghana Navy of the government's commitment to providing the necessary resources to secure the country's maritime space and advance the blue economy agenda. She gave the assurance after inspecting a guard of honor at the Ghana Navy Memorial Day Parade at the Western Navy Command in Sekondi.
Although the Gulf of Guinea faces various security threats, our maritime domain remains relatively safe. We owe the security to the Ghana Navy. Government has been made aware of the constraints facing the Navy, including insufficient platforms and other facilities. We are exploring every avenue to better equip the Ghana Navy and will tackle the other challenges with the urgency they deserve. Therefore, I entreat you to continue to work hard in collaboration with other maritime stakeholders to improve maritime security and preserve our territorial integrity. A secured maritime domain will, among other benefits, provide an enabling environment for the blue economy to serve both the present and future generations.
Now, here's some unfortunate news. Apostle Dr. Kwadwo Safo, popularly known as Kantanka, the African star, has passed away. The Safo family and the Crystal Safo Church have announced. Described as a man of God, a technological innovator, a philanthropist, an agriculturalist, and an industrialist, Apostle Safo was a national icon whose life touched many. Channel 1 News' Philip Nilate has more in this report.
Born on August 26, 1948, Apostle Kwadwo Safo passed away on Thursday, September 11, 2025, at the age of 77. Over the years, Apostle Safo established himself as a renowned preacher, inventor, innovator, chemist, biologist, agriculturalist, and philanthropist. Nicknamed the Star of Africa, he was the founder of the Great Kosa Network of Companies and the chairman of the Kantanka Group of Companies. He founded Kantanka Automobile, a Ghana-based automotive company, as well as Christo Safo Mission, a religious and industrial organization. Apostle Safo was widely known for his contributions to local manufacturing and technological innovation in Ghana, particularly through inventions like Kantanka Umama's SUV and O94 pickup truck vehicles designed specifically for African markets. In a statement signed by his daughter, Sarah Adwoa Safo, the former Member of Parliament for Domkwavinya, the family described him as a true genius, a beacon of hope for many, and a father to the fatherless. They expressed deep sorrow over the loss of a gallant man, noting that his legacy was shaped by lifelong struggles, big dreams, and unwavering commitment to excellence. Apostle Safo attended the Ghana Technical Works Institute, now Kumasi Technical University, where he studied engineering. He was also trained as a welder for 3 years at Valco and West African Metals. He received an honorary professorship emeritus from Alfred Nobel University, Ukraine in 2019, and an honorary Doctor of Laws from the University of Ghana in 1999. News of Apostle Safo's passing has drawn widespread public attention. The family has opened his Taifa residence to receive condolences from mourners coming from far and near. There's a sad moment here at the Taifa abode of the late Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka. Scores of loved ones have thronged here to sympathize with the children and family members of the deceased. According to a statement from the family, it demanded that the public respects the privacy of the family in this period of grief. It also highlighted that details of burial and funeral arrangements will be made public in the coming days. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Philip Nilate.
Now, the Ghana Institution of Engineering has criticized the government's plan to begin construction of a new Accra-Kumasi Expressway while the ongoing dualization of the existing highway remains unfinished. The institution describes the move as ill-advised, warning that the proposed expressway could become a rushed and unsustainable project if work begins within the next 2 years. Channel 1 News' Ashanti regional correspondent Doris Lonta has the details.
During his thank you tour in the Ashanti region in July 2025, President John Dramani Mahama announced plans to construct an expressway from Kumasi to Accra, with work expected to commence early next year under the Big Push Infrastructure Program. But the president of the Ghana Institution of Engineering has cautioned that such a project requires at least 5 years of detailed engineering assessments and ground preparations before actual construction can begin. He warned that rushing the process could compromise the quality of the road, leading to premature deterioration. The engineer further advised government to prioritize completing the ongoing dualization of the current highway and explore alternative railway development to ease congestion and improve mobility, stressing that embarking on a greenfield expressway project without adequate planning risks abandonment midway.
Don't go and look for new money to start a completely new greenfield project. And as is typical with government, when the government says I am starting a new project, they want to start it in their time. Now, projects like a new expressway between Accra and Kumasi should take not less than 5 years to prepare from concept to engineering before we start breaking ground. Any government who comes and says, I'll start breaking ground for a new greenfield project in 1 year, then there's no good preparation, I can tell you. And our project will fail.
Adding his voice, the provost of the College of Engineering at KNUST, Engineer Professor Kwabna Brechum Nyaku, called for greater investment in engineering and capacity building to drive sustainable infrastructure development.
We need to do a lot more. This calls for some investment, and in addition to the investment, we also need a capacity.
Similarly, Engineer Dr. Patrick Bequin urged engineers across various disciplines to collaborate more closely in order to improve infrastructure delivery and ensure successful outcomes in Ghana's built environment.
We believe that when we sustainably and also safely build our geotechnical infrastructure, Ghana will be better off.
The concerns were raised at the Maiden Ghana Geotechnical and Geosynthetics Conference held at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology under the theme, The Critical Role of Geotechnical Engineering in the Nexus Between Green Engineering and Public Safety. The two-day conference brought together geotechnical and geosynthetics experts to highlight their role in green infrastructure, public safety, and closing existing gaps in the sector. The Engineering Society is calling for increased investment in the sector to improve its operations, especially in infrastructure development. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Doris Lonta, Ashanti Region.
Now, the President of the National House of Chiefs has denounced female genital mutilation as cruel and unacceptable, calling for its immediate abolition. Speaking at a workshop organized by the House in collaboration with the United Nations Population Fund, he reaffirmed the chief's commitment to ending child marriage in Ghana. He urged traditional leaders to take a firm stand against female genital mutilation, describing the practice as a stain on their authority. Channel 1 News' Ashanti regional correspondent Fatih Aminu Ibrahim has more.
A 2022 UNICEF report shows that 16% of Ghanaian women aged 22 to 24 were married before their 18th birthday. Another UNICEF study from 2024 estimates that 370 million girls and women worldwide experienced rape or sexual assault before turning 18. Stakeholders have condemned these figures as alarming and unacceptable, calling for urgent action to eliminate such harmful practices. In response, the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, has partnered with the National House of Chiefs to empower traditional leaders to help end child marriage and female genital mutilation, safeguarding the rights and dignity of girls across Ghana. At the workshop, the United Nations Population Fund Country Director urged chiefs to take a strong stance against child marriage and lead efforts to abolish all harmful cultural practices in their communities.
You can be champions who stand against the practice and declare that in our communities and in our country, every child has the right to grow, to learn, and to choose a path. For a girl's value lies much more in her potential to be a good mother, a leader, and a contributor to the society. I therefore appeal to you to encourage our revered traditional leaders to promote social norms that reject child marriage.
President of the National House of Chiefs, Ojaoho Yaljebi II, pledged the House's full support in the fight against child marriage.
Chiefs will go back to their respective regions, preach the gospel to them, and let it extend to all chiefs in our communities so that we stop these harmful practices of FGM and, of course, discourage people from also giving teenage or minor girls for marriages. These things don't help us at all. All the evils associated with early marriages have been told at this place, and we agree that it is not in the interest of society to give young girls for marriage.
On FGM, he described the act as an outdated and cruel practice that must be abolished immediately. He stressed that such practices undermine the authority of traditional leaders and must be eradicated to preserve the integrity and values of chieftaincy.
This is inhuman. So as much as possible, let us go back to our respective traditional areas and then talk against it and make sure we don't hear about all these things.
Now, members of the National House of Chiefs have pledged their commitment to support the fight against these harmful practices that protect the health and future of young girls. For Channel One News, I'm Fatih Amin Ibrahim, Ashanti Region.
Well, that'll be all for this edition of the Channel One Newsroom on Channel One TV. Do visit our website, channel1newsonline.com, for more information on our top stories and more. Subscribe to Channel One TV on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Channel One TV. Download the Channel One TV app on the Google Play Store and the App Store. I'm Charles Osukumi. Thank you for watching.